Tonight on Dark Matter Nap, we are going to expose a cosmic trap that hides in plain sight. When we look at photographs of the deep universe, we see magnificent galaxies, visual spirals of light and color floating in a pitch-black void. We naturally assume that the space between these galaxies is exactly what it looks like, an empty, peaceful, freezing ocean of absolute nothingness. We imagine that if humanity ever managed to build a starship capable of escaping the Milky Way, the journey to the Andromeda Galaxy would be a long, dark, but fundamentally quiet coast through a serene vacuum. But astrophysics reveals a completely different, intensely hostile reality. The space between galaxies is not empty, it is not peaceful, and it is not a simple void waiting to be crossed. There is a hidden, invisible wall separating the islands of the universe. It is a lethal, multi-layered barrier constructed out of superheated plasma, high-energy radiation, and chaotic magnetic fields. The intergalactic medium is actively fortified against travel, acting as a natural quarantine zone that violently rejects any solid matter attempting to cross it. Tonight, we will break down the exact physics of this invisible wall. We will dive into the burning fog of the cosmic web, analyze the violent shockwaves blown out by dying stars, and explore the terrifying radiation trap that sterilizes the deep dark. Before we leave the safety of our galaxy, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us reach more curious minds like yours. Now, settle in, turn off the lights, and let's face the barrier. To understand the barrier, we first have to unlearn the greatest misconception about deep space: the idea that the intergalactic void is cold and empty. Inside the Milky Way, the space between the stars, the interstellar medium, is genuinely freezing. It sits just a few degrees above absolute zero. If you exit our solar system, you are enveloped in a cryogenic freeze. It is perfectly logical to assume that once you leave the galaxy entirely and enter the vast chasm between the Milky Way and Andromeda, the temperature would drop even further, reaching the absolute baseline limit of thermodynamics. But when astrophysicists aimed specialized X-ray observatories into the dark gaps between galaxies, they did not find a cold vacuum. They found a raging fire. They discovered an invisible structure known as the WIM, the warm-hot intergalactic medium. This is a vast, sweeping web of ionized gas, or plasma, that fills the space between galaxies, and the temperature of this invisible fog is absolutely staggering. The WIM burns at temperatures ranging from 100,000 to over 10 million degrees Fahrenheit. The space between galaxies is literally boiling. This creates a terrifying paradox. How can a vacuum be 10 million degrees? The answer lies in density. The WIM is incredibly hot, but it is also unimaginably sparse. There might only be a few dozen atoms in a space the size of an entire room. Because the atoms are so spread out, they cannot efficiently transfer their heat to a solid object. If you floated in the WIM in a spacesuit, you would freeze to death, not burn, because there aren't enough hot atoms hitting you to warm you up. But while the WIM might not instantly melt a starship, it presents a devastating mechanical barrier for high-speed travel. The problem arises the moment you try to cross the intergalactic chasm at any meaningful speed. To reach Andromeda within a human lifespan, a starship must travel at a significant fraction of the speed of light, say 20% of the cosmic speed limit. At that blistering velocity, the extreme sparseness of the WIM suddenly ceases to be an advantage. When a starship plows through the intergalactic medium at thousands of miles per second, it forcefully scoops up the scattered atoms of the WIM. These atoms are already highly energized, stripped of their electrons, and vibrating at millions of degrees. When they violently collide with the forward hull of a starship moving at relativistic speeds, the impact energy is astronomically magnified. The ship acts as a massive particle accelerator. The harmless, diffuse plasma of the intergalactic void transforms into a continuous, unyielding stream of high-energy radiation and kinetic impacts. It is like flying a jet fighter through a sandstorm of burning plasma. The forward hull of the ship would be subjected to intense, relentless X-ray bombardment, structurally degrading the metal, frying sensitive quantum electronics, and lethally irradiating any biological crew inside. The WIM is not a brick wall, it is a kinetic friction trap. The faster you try to escape the galaxy, the more violently the intergalactic medium burns you. But the burning fog of the WIM is only the first layer of the barrier. To truly understand why the intergalactic medium is so hostile, we have to look at the violent border patrol of the galaxies themselves, the galactic winds. Galaxies are not closed systems. They are massive, churning engines that constantly vomit matter and energy out into the deep dark. When massive stars reach the end of their lifespans, they detonate as supernovas, releasing unimaginable shockwaves of energy. When a galaxy experiences a burst of rapid star formation, thousands of these supernovas go off simultaneously. The combined shockwaves of these dying stars create a colossal hurricane of superheated gas and radioactive heavy elements that blasts outward, vertically escaping the gravitational grip of the galactic disk. These are the galactic winds, and they blow outward at millions of miles per hour. As this high-speed wind slams into the stationary plasma of the WIM, it creates massive, turbulent shockwaves, invisible tsunamis of compressed energy rolling across the intergalactic void. A starship trying to enter or exit a galaxy would have to navigate through this chaotic, turbulent border zone. Crossing a galactic wind shockwave would subject a vessel to sudden, unpredictable spikes in plasma density and magnetic shearing, capable of tearing apart unshielded electronic arrays and throwing navigational systems into complete disarray. The galaxy is actively defending its perimeter, blasting back the void with walls of stellar shrapnel. If a starship somehow survives the friction of the WIM and navigates through the turbulent shockwaves of the galactic winds, it enters the deepest part of the intergalactic chasm. Here, it faces the third and perhaps most insidious layer of the barrier, the extragalactic background light. Inside the Milky Way, we are protected. The dense clouds of interstellar dust and the magnetic field of our sun filter out a massive amount of the harmful radiation bouncing around the cosmos. But in the deep intergalactic void, there is no dust to hide behind. You are completely exposed to the combined, unfiltered glare of the entire observable universe. For 13.8 billion years, every star that has ever burned, every supernova that has ever exploded, and every supermassive black hole that has ever devoured a star has pumped high-energy photons into the void. This ancient, ambient radiation is known as the extragalactic background light, and it permeates every single cubic inch of empty space. It acts as an omnipresent bath of ultraviolet and X-ray radiation. Over a journey spanning millions of light years, this ambient radiation field acts as an inescapable structural eraser. Any complex molecules, synthetic polymers, or biological tissues exposed to this environment would experience continuous atomic degradation. The high-energy photons systematically sever chemical bonds, turning durable plastics into brittle dust and mutating DNA into useless static. The intergalactic void is a permanent sterilization chamber, ensuring that no complex biology or unshielded chemistry can drift from one galaxy to another and survive the crossing intact. The final component of this hidden barrier is the most mysterious force in modern astrophysics: intergalactic magnetic fields. We know that planets have magnetic fields generated by spinning iron cores, and we know that galaxies have magnetic fields driven by the rotation of their gas and stars. But when astronomers pointed specialized radio telescopes into the completely empty voids between galaxies, they found a haunting anomaly. The absolute nothingness is highly magnetized. There is a vast, invisible web of magnetic fields threaded through the completely empty intergalactic medium, Astrophysicists do not fully understand where these fields came from. Some theorize they are the stretched-out remnants of the Big Bang itself, primordial magnetism that was baked into the fabric of space-time during the first fraction of a second of creation. While these magnetic fields are incredibly weak, they are universally vast, spanning millions of light years. And they perform a deadly function. They act as cosmic spider webs for high-energy particles. When incredibly fast, lethal cosmic rays shoot out from supermassive black holes, they do not travel in straight lines. They get caught in the intergalactic magnetic web. The magnetic fields force these microscopic bullets to spiral and bounce wildly through the void, creating a chaotic, highly irradiated environment. A starship crossing this magnetic web would not be able to predict the direction or intensity of incoming cosmic radiation. The intergalactic magnetic field turns the empty space between galaxies into an omnipresent radioactive trap, where charged particles are held in suspension, waiting to strike anything attempting to cross the dark. When you combine the burning plasma of the WIM, the shockwaves of the galactic winds, the absolute sterilization of the extragalactic background light, and the chaotic trapping of the intergalactic magnetic fields, a chilling picture emerges. The space between galaxies is not a highway. It is a highly engineered, natural quarantine wall. The universe is built to isolated systems. Galaxies are designed to be closed biological experiments. The laws of thermodynamics, kinetic energy, and radiation work together in perfect harmony to ensure that whatever evolves inside the Milky Way stays inside the Milky Way. If a predatory, hyper-advanced civilization decided they wanted to conquer the universe, they wouldn't just be fighting the sheer distance of millions of light years. They would be fighting the kinetic friction of the plasma sea. They would be fighting the atomic degradation of ambient radiation. They would be fighting the absolute, hostile architecture of space itself. The universe protects its diversity through sheer hostility. By turning the intergalactic medium into a burning, radioactive wasteland, the cosmos ensures that life remains isolated, local, and contained. This physical reality radically alters how we must view our place in the night sky. We look up at Andromeda and dream of the day our descendants will bridge the gap. But the cosmic architecture demands that we humble our ambitions. We are not the masters of the cosmos, destined to spread across every star in existence. We are the inhabitants of a single, isolated island, floating in a sea of fire. And that is not a tragedy, it is a profound comfort. The absolute hostility of the intergalactic barrier means that we are safe. Just as we cannot easily cross the dark to reach other galaxies, whatever terrifying, unknown entities might exist in those distant spirals cannot easily reach us. The burning plasma and the magnetic webs are our ultimate shields, protecting our fragile, developing history from the deep, ancient chaos of the wider universe. Thank you for joining me tonight on this deep dive into the hidden walls of the cosmos here on Dark Matter Nap. If this exploration of the intergalactic medium changed the way you view the empty spaces in the sky, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support is the exact engine that allows us to continue charting these late-night journeys into the absolute mysteries of reality. The next time you look up at a deep space photograph, do not look at the black gaps between the galaxies as empty nothingness. Look at them with a quiet reverence, knowing that the invisible dark is actually a roaring, million-degree ocean, perfectly designed to keep our local islands safe. Sleep well tonight, knowing that the walls of our galaxy are holding strong, and that the deep dark is watching over us. Good night, and may your dreams reach safely beyond the horizon.